Prometheus Labs Hub. Prometheus Laboratories Incorporated was a research corporation that researched and produced various products, primarily of the anomalous variety. They were involved in nearly every technological field in regard to the anomalous, including thaumaturgy, demonics, and ontokinesis. After an incident in 1998, Prometheus Labs projects were seized by the SCP Foundation, and the corporation splintered into hundreds of smaller companies.
Overview. Founded in 1892, Prometheus Labs was dedicated to researching anomalous objects for use in developing new technologies.
Over the years, Prometheus Labs developed into a multinational conglomerate, selling advanced and anomalous technologies to governments, militaries, and groups of interest.
Throughout its history, Prometheus Labs displayed a nominal amount of cooperation with Foundation efforts to protect normalcy, and at times even collaborated with the Foundation, but refused to cease its study of anomalies and resisted Foundation oversight. In 1998, following a long period of financial decline, the Prometheus Labs conglomerate was dissolved, resulting in the creation of numerous successor companies formed from its subsidiaries.
The breakup of the conglomerate was fraught with technical and administrative difficulties, resulting in the loss of many products and the layoffs of numerous personnel.
A major producer of anomalous technology before its collapse in the late 1990s, its most notable SCP is a device called SCP-155, which uses a temporal distortion field to create near-infinite processing power, but generates dangerous amounts of heat and radiation as a byproduct. After the company dissolved, many of its projects and former employees were absorbed by the SCP Foundation.
Sarkic Cults.
Overview. Sarkicism is a religious or philosophical system that encompasses a variety of traditions, beliefs, and spiritual practices largely based on teachings attributed to Grand Carsist Iron, its deified founder. Adherents practice ritual cannibalism, human sacrifice, corporeal augmentation, thaumaturgy, and dimensional manipulation.
Highly secretive, the general public appears to have no direct knowledge of their existence, the one exception being the Kortborg, who views them in apocalyptic terms. Organic manipulation has allowed certain Sarkicites to achieve anomalous states of being, transcending the physical limitations of baseline humans. Disease is viewed with reverence, and Sarkic shrines have been discovered with offerings of swollen lymph nodes and tumorous growths. Sarkic cults treat contagions as consecration, a means to cull the weak and purify the masses, and thus actively seek to ensure their spread. The Foundation divides known Sarkic cults into two distinct strands, Proto-Sarkic and Neo-Sarkic. Proto-Sarkic cults can be found in insular communities throughout Eurasia's most isolated regions, its followers generally poor if self-reliant and hostile towards outsiders. Such groups eschew modernity, display acute technophobia, and are bound by superstition and taboo. In contrast, Neo-Sarkic cults are cosmopolitan, publicly embracing modernity and showing no apparent qualms with technology, their public lives differing little from others of their culture and social status. Adherents are primarily affluent families, rich in history and scandal. Ultimately, it is believed that the Foundation only knows a fraction of what Sarkicism is and what its followers intend. Based on the available information, the speculated goals of Sarkic cults represent an SK-class dominance shift, including the possibility of an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario. The Serpent's Hand. The Serpent's Hand is a small organization growing at a fast rate. The group uses paranormal items, usually humanoid and sapient anomalies. The Serpent's Hand has been very vocal in judging the containment and destruction of SCP items, especially those that are not seen as dangerous.
Overview.
The Serpent's Hand is a small but formidable organization responsible for several security breaches.
At least 3 different individuals have been encountered, all of whom used possible or confirmed anomalous items for infiltration purposes, including SCP-268, which was stolen from the Foundation, who had in turn recovered it during a raid of a Chaos insurgency facility.
The total number of members belonging to this organization is unknown, as is their level of technology, number of possible SCPs held, or total level of threat.
However, it is clear they are highly coordinated and possibly dangerous.
One of their leaders is thought to be a figure known as Les, who is considered to be personally responsible for 2 security breaches in Foundation sites. The Foundation currently has very little information about the Serpent's Hand, and almost all known information about the Serpent's Hand has been leaked from the GOC intelligence. The group seems to embrace the use and existence of paranormal items, and in particular seems to embrace humanoid and sentient SCPs. The Serpent's Hand has been highly vocal in criticizing the containment and destruction of these SCPs, especially those which are fully human and are not particularly destructive. The group seems to have unfriendly relations with the Chaos Insurgency and the Aurea, and an extremely hostile relationship with the GOC. The only recorded cases of unprovoked violence by Serpent's Hand members have been against GOC agents. The Serpent's Hand seems primarily based in an anomalous location called the Wanderer's Library, a building accessed through portals found in many different parts of the world. Direct assaults on the library have so far proven unfeasible, even when entrance could be found.
However, initial intelligence seems to suggest the Hand has little understanding or control over the place. Shark Punching Center. Overview. The Shark Punching Center, also known as the Sarkic Punching Center. The Shark Punching Center, Sarkic Punchix Combin, among others, is an organization located in one or more parallel universes, apparently acting as an alternate universe counterpart to the Foundation.
While the Foundation has known of the center for several decades, the structure, documentation, and general tone taken by the Shark Punching Center varies wildly, suggesting one or more universes are in a state of flux. Documents pertaining to the Shark Punching Center have been recovered and indicate a much more militaristic and unstable tone than a Foundation document.
As the name would suggest, the SPC is mostly focused on furthering hand-to-hand combat as a means to neutralize Sarkic entities, though some documentation fails to differentiate between Sarkic and aquatic. It is unclear if the Shark Punching Center has any knowledge or concern with Foundation activities.
The Shark Punching Center, as the name suggests, is a group of interest located within a parallel universe that engages in physical violence to neutralize Sarkic anomalies.
The 3 Moons Initiative. Overview. The 3 Moons Initiative is an extra-dimensional human military organization based in SCP-292-C, an afterlife also known as Corbinic.
Through a partnership with the Corbinese deity Jalakra, they act as a multi-dimensional security force for the protection of the human race. While Initiative personnel believe that they're operating in humankind's best interests, military overreach, poor communication, issues with internal bureaucracy, and other factors combined with their disproportionately high military strength to our own have made them a potential liability to public safety in our dimension.
As such, they maintain an unstable peace with the Foundation. Operatives of the 3 Moons Initiative are to be treated with extreme caution.
TotleighSoft.
Overview.
TotleighSoft is a consumer electronics and software corporation based out of North Dakota. While TotleighSoft primarily produces anomalous video games, they have recently branched out into other fields such as home video and artificial intelligence.
The founder, CEO, and arguably sole employee is a gigantic extraterrestrial lifeform who answers to both SCP-2803A and P.
Hudson Koch. Despite SCP-2803A's immense reality-bending powers, it is nonetheless obsessed with the concept of the American dream. To that end, it created TotleighSoft, becoming a self-proclaimed immigrant business successes story. TotleighSoft's products are noted for their low quality, potent and often harmful anomalous qualities, and extremely poor spelling. However, the founder remains oblivious to these problems, not necessarily out of malice, but through stubborn naivety. While also maintaining an uneasy relationship with TotleighSoft, the Foundation monitors, suppresses, and contains their products whenever we can.
And yet, despite our best efforts, additional TotleighSoft content continues to reach the public through potentially anomalous means, garnering a sizable cult following over the years. Unusual Incidents Unit (UIU) Federal Bureau of Investigation. Overview. The Unusual Incidents Unit is a branch of the United States government dedicated to protecting the US from anomalous objects. The UAU is seen as incapable of their job from a large amount of people that know about them. The UAU is in good relations with the Foundation. The Unusual Incidents Unit was formed after the onset of the Cold War, when many aspects of the American government were focused on utilizing the anomalous and preventing the communists from doing the same. This led to the creation of a special FBI division devoted to rapid response to paranormal events and crimes. Director J. Edgar Hoover was personally involved with their creation. Although initially given significant funding and resources by the American government, following the end of the Cold War and the dissolution of enemy organizations such as the GRUP, the UAU had been in a state of decline for many years. Disparagingly referred to as X-Files and useless by the larger anomalous community, the agency is generally well-meaning, but due to a lack of financial resources, little manpower, and bureaucratic obstruction by the US government, it is often perceived as ineffective. The influence of the Foundation and Global Occult Coalition in the United States government has stopped the UIU and other US GOV entities dealing with anomalous activity, such as US Air Force's 616th Squadron, Roswell's Revengers, and US Navy SEAL Team Bravo Papa Romeo Delta, from being dissolved entirely. FBI agents and special agents who join the Unusual Incidents Unit often have backgrounds in psychology, STEM fields, and art studies. As part of the Patriot Act, agents of the unit are required to be administered personalized mimetic silencing agents PMSA, colloquially referred to as gag orders by agents of the UIU to avoid leaks. The Unusual Incidents Unit has been known to engage in combat alongside and against various anomalous organizations in the past, including participating in several combat operations under Foundation supervision in the 1950s and 1962, and the Black Mamba incident in Afghanistan in 1976, an infamous skirmish between UAU agents and members of GRUP. Currently, a division of the Unusual Incidents Unit oversees the autonomous anomalous state of 3 Portlands. An example of underfunding and understaffing in the Unusual Incidents Unit can be seen in its sole remaining division in the Midwestern United States. Valravn Corporation. Overview. The Valravn Corporation is an anomalous private military company, mostly operating in politically unstable regions where the presence of organizations like the Foundation and the GOC is less prominent. They are mainly hired by governments to suppress anomalous rebel groups and protect their interest against otherworldly threats. Valravn sells itself as a specialist in anomalous security and counterinsurgency. It specializes in the reaponization of myth-related anomalies as well as paratechnology-augmented soldiers. The origins of the Valravn Corporation can be traced back to the fall of the legendary mercenary Jomsviking Order, and it is believed to have existed throughout history in various iterations. Valravn professes a syncretic belief in pagan Gnostic determinism combined with hyper-capitalism worship, which it uses to ideologically justify its mercenary business. Their relationship with the Foundation is tense, with an unstable peace maintained as long as Valravn commits to operating under the veil. However, Valravn's ongoing conflict with the Serpent's hand splinter cell, LASD Boris, has complicated this agreement. Vikander-Kneed Technical Media. Overview. Here at Vikander-Kneed, we like to pride ourselves on being at the bleeding edge of media and communications technology. Our goal has been the betterment of the person and society through unbiased, but aesthetically pleasing communications. If there's a better world out there, then it's up to all of us to achieve it together. Efficient and entertaining media is the most important step on the road to utopia. Won't you join us in this better tomorrow? Produces anomalous and unsettling media. Active since the 1950s, VKTM creates a wide range of content, including radio shows, VHS tapes, and streaming services that can cause mental effects in viewers. While their methods and origins are mysterious, their goal is to spread their unique, often sickly humorous, and sometimes harmful media without being detected by the Foundation.
The Wandsmen.
Overview.
The Wandsmen are a group of extra-dimensional journalists and archivists.
They seek to explore the multiverse and uncover its mysteries, while spreading and preserving knowledge.
All members of this group undergo a transformation that gives them avian features and anomalous abilities.
They also utilize a group of anomalous artifacts known as maps of the multiverse to travel through dimensions to study their locales and inhabitants.
In contrast to many groups of interest, the Wandsmen have attempted to work with the Foundation multiple times.
One of their goals is the preservation of existence so they can study it. So they see the Foundation as an ally against the multiverse's destruction.
However, they have a variety of extremely dangerous members, have produced multiple anomalous items, and strongly object philosophically to the Foundation's desire to preserve normalcy and conceal knowledge of the anomalous.
The Wandsmen are a multiversal organization of bird-like creatures who act as journalists, using maps to travel between dimensions to document and report on anomalous events.
They are dedicated to knowledge preservation and see themselves as allies to the SCP Foundation, though they are often difficult to contain and have conflicts with groups who want to keep knowledge of the anomalous world hidden. Wilson's Wildlife Solutions. Wilson's Wildlife Solutions is a group of interest that tends, accommodates, and solicitudes to anomalous wildlife, kept under consecutive close observation by Mobile Task Force Beta 4 castaways.
Overview.
Wilson's Wildlife Solutions is a paranormal publicly funded wildlife service based in Clackamas County, Oregon, specifically in the town of Boring.
Although the Foundation has known of Wilson's Wildlife Solutions' existence and anomalous affiliations since 1999, it took 9 years until the Ursus Maritimus incident in 2008 for their existence to be officially recognized and a relationship established between the two groups. Currently, the Boring Agreement outlines that Wilson's Wildlife Solutions should be supervised by MTF Beta 4 castaways local to Site 64, and that they may handle containment of safe or Euclid fauna-based anomalies with varying degrees of Foundation intervention on a case-to-case basis.
Amendments to the Boring Agreement can be, and have been, made to account for grey areas or new policies as necessary.
Of the security system. If you do it, I might help you. Human, listen carefully. I am SCP-07. I always calculating, computing, always learning. I am not here to help you.